Hey, my Yipmore brothers. Back again. This is just a promo for me putting some of my esoteric Black Gnostic stuff up on BGS Reborn, because the stuff is probably too long to be here on BGS Yipmore. Plus, there's a lot of other ears that are not tuned to be Black or Black Gnosticism. So this is basically a promo for the brothers that keep asking me about more Gnosticism, more Black Gnosticism. So this is like a 21, 22-year-old tape or course on Stolen Legacy taught by my teacher, Dadisi Sanyika. I thought I lost them because I had a hard drive damage that actually put recordings on. But I found an old iPod Touch that had the whole series on it. So I don't know how many I'm gonna upload to BGS Reborn. I'm probably gonna upload most of them to probably my Patreon page, but we'll see how it goes. But each recording is probably like 40 some odd minutes long, and it's too long to be put on the Yipmore page. So for those that are interested, I'm sure there's not a whole lot of people that are interested, but for those that are interested, it's going to be on BGS Reborn. And I'm going to point to the first video through this promo. So I'm going to play a clip to see if you guys are interested. It's probably about, the clip I think is like 6 minutes. 6 minutes of like a 47-minute audio version. But if you're interested, or it sounds like it's something you actually want to sit down and listen to, because even he said it was probably one of his best series. And that's the one he always points to because it has a lot in it. And this is like a year-long class. So if you want to sit at the feet of a master, get some this Black Gnostic wisdom, I implore you to actually go over there to BGS Reborn, give it a listen, male and female, and give it a take. Like I said, if I get interest, if I get enough interest, I might upload the whole series. But if I don't get enough interest, then I'll upload maybe the first few, and then the rest will be on my Patreon page. So with that said, I introduce to you my humble and esteemed teacher, the real master teacher, my ancestor, Dadisi Sanyika. Peace.
That's one approach, and we will touch on that. But the main focus in dealing with Stolen Legacy is the philosophical ideas that it documents, and how those philosophical ideas were the foundations and the prototypes for all subsequent civilizations. That's critical. Second, he outlines the actual structure for the development of civilization being founded in the temple structure, where you have the libraries, the universities, the cultural centers, the educational centers, and also it was the center for the training of the leaders of that civilization or society, and how that was then exported as it moved out into the various other cultures around the Mediterranean and eventually all over the world through God system. And then to really get involved in terms of trying to or addressing some of those philosophical ideas in terms of what does it really mean to understand, to apply these concepts and ideas. Otherwise, we can say, okay, we know that it's Stolen Legacy, but those that we are studying did not study and talk about a Stolen Legacy. They practice the teachings. And so the critical focus is to address and confront these ideas, and then also be able to see how those ideas are still being circulated or articulated today under various guises or images. And then you can understand two things: where it came from, but what it was related to. Sonum bonum. And so I'm going to bring in a lot of other threads, because as we touch on these concepts or ideas, I'm going to bring in a number of other supplemental information that can embellish those ideas for you. And you'll have it. Now, what you do with it, of course, that's your own choice. I can't force you to apply it or do whatever. So we will address it both exoterically, dealing with historical facts and perspective and phases of transition. You know, the end of the Kemetic African world and that transition and the moving into the development of the Western world. And then, but more significantly, we're going to address the philosophical organizational structure and the curriculum, and engage in some of the ideas that curriculum embodies. Okay. All right. With all that said and done, we're going to start off. Today is going to be an introduction, and then which we're just going to go over the introduction and the purpose of the book, and then next week we'll start off on chapters, or your assignment will be to read chapters 1 and 2. I will have roughly about 10 questions for each chapter, for each week assignment, that help pull out essential points. Because so many times in me talking with individuals who've read the book, and I ask certain questions that are critical questions in the book, and people have this glassed over look about, what are you talking about, type thing. And I'm like, but these are the keys. And with that said, I always ask this question, because in Stolen Legacy, he identifies, he makes a statement, the key to the interpretation of ancient philosophy and religion is, it is the only statement he makes that this is the key. And it's the only time in the whole book he says, this is the key to the interpretation of ancient religion and philosophy. Okay. And I asked that question, and 99.99% cannot tell me the answer. And before you answer it, if you know the answer, and the point that I am raising is deep thought, deep thinking. You can't just read the book, you have to study the book. You got to put energy into the book if you really want to understand or know what the book is really talking about. And not to skip over key words or key ideas. Because when we keep encountering certain repetitive themes in the book, these are most important. And then if we don't move to try to understand what those key ideas are, we're really missing the point. And so I'm going to focus on that. The whole concept of nous or mind, the demiurgos and the logos, these things that we're encountering all the time in the various modern day religions, but we don't have a clear understanding of what it's really talking about. And so, and essentially everything that's being talked about in the book is inside of you. All these concepts and ideas are embodied in you. And so, by understanding those concepts, it can help liberate you. And we can't liberate ourselves as individuals themselves. We're not liberated. You have a liberated group, you got to have liberated individuals. And so my thrust, my focus, my intention is really about the whole process of liberation. I'm not here just want to teach a class and talk about the book. No. It's in the context of us being serious about liberation.